I think the key lesson is the retail investor is as confused about everybody else as whether to weigh earnings more or whether to weigh the constant headline action more.
So trade, you mean in particular?
Yes, trade particular. It's this tug of war going back and forth. And so with that, you saw the index pretty much unchanged. But a couple of things I want to add to that. They were net buyers last month. But with that, volatility in a lot of the stocks that our clients hold or that they bought actually came out, so that, volatility is one of the factors in our index, so that helped even it out. But I do think one of the primary things that's interesting, and we talked about this when I was here last month, Facebook was on that list as a sell 5 of the first 6 months. Didn't show up last month, so I guess the fact that they weren't sellers almost makes it a buy.
Although, of course, towards the end of the month, their earnings disappointed, and there were certainly some sellers out after that. But of the other tech names, it's some familiar names that people were buying more prominently than even Facebook.
Yeah,
Netflix, Amazon,
and Microsoft are the 3 tech names that were buyers, and I think people are staying with the names that have been successful for them. I think one of the interesting things for your viewers is they also were buyers of AT&T and Ford, which you may say that seems strange, but not only has this tug of war in the market, but there's a tug of war in the bond market, 2.8 to 3%. So people are going out and saying, I can get almost 6% yields here. So these are stocks that have become interesting again also. So it's tech and yield that, really to get back to your original question, Melissa, Michelle, seems to be the real areas that people are primarily interested in.
I want to go back to the Facebook.
Sure.
They were net sellers for 5 months.
5 to 6 months.
So they got ahead of what was that awful sell-off, right? I mean, they took profits long. I mean,
taking profits along the way is the way up.
Right. I mean, to what degree we often think of retail being the laggards, right? They're always behind. They're always the last ones in, the last ones out. But that would suggest to me that they were ahead on this trade.
So that's exactly why we started this index, is because we were tired of hearing that retail is a dumb money. Now, people who plan their vacations longer than they plan their investments probably aren't going to make great decisions. But what this index does is it measures people who engage with the market at least once a month. And what we find is if people take the time to engage with the market, they're probably making a little better decision because they're more informed people.
Talk to us about Disney, because they've got earnings coming up and they've been heavily involved in all sorts of potential and actual M&A. What are retail investors saying about that?
Well, they were net sellers of Disney, and I think the reason being, first of all, the stock had a phenomenal July. And, with the Fox deal, et cetera, there is some confusion as to what that means. You guys will be talking all about the earnings. And I think that's also a little confusing for people to, what are they going to talk about? What does streaming mean for Disney? Because I think that's going to be a really big area. Obviously, with the buy in Netflix, they have big faith in that streaming. But also, if you remember in their last earnings, Disney talked about the fact that Easter being early helped them significantly. So what's that going to mean for this earnings? So I think after this nice move in July, people are like, we had the move up, let's take our profits and maybe not take as big a chance on earnings.
We got Julia coming up in just a little bit here to talk about Disney. Gilead and and Bristol Myers. Why were they sellers there?
You have stocks that made big moves monthly or 6 month to 3 month highs there. So again, what I like, back to something you pointed out earlier, are clients acting a lot more like professionals. That is, as stocks run up, taking some profits on them. Walmart being one that may have surprised people also. Had a very nice July. People sellers of it.